All right, game devs and gaming enthusiasts, it's time for another Pixel Washer devlog. I think this is the second one, so we're going to call this Devlog 2. We're going to cover some new contents, new features, new polish. What else we got in here? I think I got some good stuff. User interface stuff. I redid the power washing, I fixed some bugs, and we'll end with some fun new levels. So let's jump right in. I have debug mode turned on, which has like debug messages and some debug renderings to kind of show that stuff is working correctly. We're going to start off by going into Welcome to Pig City, which is the default zone, the starting zone. The game kind of forces you to begin in this area so you can learn how the game plays and whatnot. And the first level couldn't be much simpler. This is called Pixel's Garage. So the most interesting thing about this level is probably the brand new tutorial feature right here. Move with WASD or arrow keys, and so I'm going to do that. And it plays a little sound, and it tells me I did the thing. I still need to fix the UI. I need to figure out how to have it stack better. Maybe I'll move this to the side or something, because it covers up the brand new power washing gun interface. So I sprayed with the mouse. I mean, what a simple game this is, right? It's move around, spray, and profit. Really, you're done once you've done that. There's some other things to learn. You can swap out weapons. Someday I might add a few new features. All right, there we go. This is new too, I think. The celebration polish, astonishing. When you finish the level, so this menu pops up. Tells you that you're all done. You hit a button, and that shows you the little mini map, tells you how long it took, and lets you return to the level selector. So that is the tutorial level. Easy peasy. I want to show off a few more levels before we get into features and polish and the user interface. The funnest one I think is, Recreation Zone. No, that's where I want to be. Now with Puddles. Puddles? No, I want outdoors. I want the great outdoors, which is locked. So real quick, I'm just going to turn off the locking mechanisms in the outdoors level. Okay, so now we can get in there. So let's start with Rock Reservation. And what's interesting about this level is you might notice right away, Pixel begins in a big pile of mud, and Pixel tracks mud as he walks. And so you'll see if I track mud, the radar updates and shows that there's more. Yep, there it goes. More stuff to clean. So that is a brand new mechanic, and I think a pretty interesting one. It gives me as the designer the ability to kind of close off certain areas, or force the player to think about movements and how to maximize their time cleaning a level, which I think is pretty cool. I like that it deals with the main thing in the game, which is the cleaning of the grime. And, your actions can make your cleaning get done as it is now, or it can make your cleaning worse if you step in a puddle. To kind of prevent the problem of what do you do if a player is kind of trolling and testing the limits to see how much grime they could generate, and then eventually you'll get to where there's 10 million puddles, and then the game would lock up because eventually it would crash, I guess. Maybe I should test that. The way that I handled that is I can give any of these pieces of these puddles, mud puddles as I call them, I can give them charges. Here, I'll show you. And then when I enter the puddle, the mud puddle, what it'll do is it will reduce a charge. So custom properties puddle. I thought I had like a charges. Maybe I don't. Charges? Charges. Oh, I do. Okay, well, I guess I haven't put it into tiled. I haven't. Okay, well, that's fine. Maybe I will eventually. Right now, all puddles start with 8 charges, and so once I've walked through them, the first time it gives you 8 charges and you track 8 puddles. The second time it's 7 puddles, and then so on and so forth. So there's a finite number of puddles that you could generate. But I thought that was pretty cool. Some of the other levels also have some mud puddles. Here's one. Traipsing mud all over the place. And so that's just a new tool I have that I can kind of sprinkle around the game and make it more interesting to play. So this is the food truck fleet. This is one of my favorite levels because it's got these really cool food trucks. Check out this awesome taco truck. There's a really cool ice cream truck. And so the feature I added to this level is the wind. You can see it's kind of pushing Pixel to the lower right, and you can see there's these leaf particles that kind of blow along with me to show the speed of the wind. And so if I close this map and I open up Welcome Fleet, you can see here, the way I did it is I just had this gigantic wind object, and it's empty. It's just an empty rectangle, but it has a wind component. And here I'll show you what this looks like. So I can turn the wind way up, and then let's see what that looks like. It should be pretty ridiculous. Yeah, this is just silly. So the wind's faster. Oh yeah, Pixel can't even, he can't do anything. He's like, help me, help me. So pretty useless. It can definitely break the game. So as the designer, you gotta be careful with what kind of wind you put in there. Should just be subtle, just something to kind of make the gameplay more interesting. Something I want to add eventually is a level where the wind pushes you into the mud puddles if you're not careful. I think that'll be a good combo. That's something I talk about in my tutorial package, Making Big Indie Games, is combining features and content to make new stuff. Here's a fun one before we leave the food truck area. This is, I call it the Tacotruckipede. It's basically a taco truck that has 5 tacos. It's a huge truck, and I have the assets to, I basically took a taco truck asset and then just turned it into a centipede, right? And I've got one that has like 18 tacos or something, so maybe someday there will be a ridiculously long Tacotruckipede in the game. Just thought that was fun. And then I think we'll probably cover a little bit more about the levels a little bit later on, but I wanted to show you this new feature. This is what I call infinite art. So there's a new user interface here. It tells you how many objects you've washed, and there's only one object to wash at a time, which you can see in the radar here, just shows the one red. So I clean this painting, it fades out and a new painting appears, and that is what this level does. It gives you a place to just wash infinitely. And you can leave whenever you want, and when you leave, it tells you how many objects you've washed. I don't know if I'll leave that in the game. Maybe it'll be an Easter egg or a secret. I like the idea of just being able to open Pixel Washer and just chill out and just, you know what, I just want to wash some cool looking pixel art. I don't want to think too much. I just want to, you know, wash the day away. While we're here, okay, next section is features and polish, and so this is pretty new if you haven't played the demo in a while. I call this the griddable selector. That's what this is. These objects here, this user interface is placed in a grid, as you can see. It's a 3x2, and what this thing is that's showing you which level I've selected, I call that a griddable. And it's got this little polish where it kind of bounces to show the player which one is selected and kind of draw your eye to it. I might also eventually do some color to like shade out. I might make darker the ones that you haven't selected, because I feel like this page is a little visually noisy right now. We'll see. This is a new feature, so we're going to have to listen carefully. Can you hear it? That's right, it's footsteps. Let me real quick. I'm going to turn those all the way up and see what that sounds like. So now you should definitely be able to hear the footsteps. Yeah, there it is. And you might also notice they're making different sounds depending on the texture of the tiles. So there's actually a lot going on here. You know, very simple feature. Doesn't seem like a big deal, right? And it isn't really, but there's like a lot going on underneath the hood. I think I even added the pitch changes as you move from left to right. Or maybe it's up, down. And it's kind of hard to tell when the footsteps keep changing. But so this is the level, and the way that this works is if I go into this sheet, if I click here, you can see there's a custom properties, a footstep key, it's wood. And so if I click on other ones, they either don't have, if they don't have footstep sounds, there's a default. And if they do have this wood, what else we got? Wood tile, it's a different one. And then in my sounds file, I've got footsteps and footstep key 1, 2, concrete 1. So for wood, it would look like this. So you just say it's wood, and then it knows to toggle between these like left, right footsteps 1 and 2. So pretty straightforward. I think it adds a lot of charm to the game. Like, let me go into a, let's see if I did it here in the Clean City Park. Yep. Yeah, so grass, road, grass. Pretty cool. This is a new feature, which I should have added a long time ago. Oh yeah, there's an Oink button, baby. And I like to add little details, so when you face a different direction, the Oink sound is different. A dedicated Oink button. Hit the P character on your keyboard and you oink. Love it. Here's a new feature that I'm not really using yet, but I plan to down the road once the game is further along. But let me see, is it Shift? Aha! So I hold Shift and I press a numeric key and I change characters. So I am no longer Pixel the Pig, I am Bunny the Bunny. I don't know. I'm a rabbit. Now I'm a cat. Oh, who doesn't love a cat? Cat's never been bigger, man. Maybe I'll tap into some of those sweet, sweet stray dollars. That game was such a hit. Now I'm a Yorkie, it looks like, a little puppy. Now I am maybe a gopher. I like the little hopping, it's fun animation. This is a hedgehog. It's not blue like Sonic, this is like a realistic looking hedgehog. Now I'm a raccoon. Infinite possibilities here. Maybe you could pilfer some trash cans or something. I'm a skeleton now, for some reason. I think I put this in here because there's a Halloween level, and I might hide a skeleton. Now I look like I'm a ground squirrel. There might be two kinds of squirrels. And I'm a different kind of dog. Oh, that might be a Silky or a Yorkie. Yeah, oh, I like the eyebrows. Makes him look kind of older. I've got an old doggy. And I'm back to Pixel the Pig, which is the default. And I plan on having some story elements that relates to Pixel the Pig. So I'm not sure how I'm going to handle the unlockable characters. It might be something that you can do once you beat the game. Maybe the story changes or something. But it's cool having that feature in there. And as you can see, like the offset of the gun like changes. It mostly works. Sometimes it ends up in an awkward spot, like it covers up the character's face or something. But I think it's okay. Let's go back to Pixel. You've probably already seen it, but this is a brand new feature in the game. Is this, I call it the Interstitial. You can see these bubbles. I think I had something similar in the game earlier, but the bubbles are brand new. They're bigger. I have a new animation, and I just really like how it looks. I think it's cool. It looks like squeaky clean. It gives some interest between the levels. I like it a lot. Okay, lastly for features, this is pretty cool. This is definitely for the game devs. This is not for people who are just interested in Pixel Washer itself. This is a game dev feature. So what I do here is I have this thing called Auto Select Zone, and when I turn it on, I load the game. It loads the assets, loads the title screen, and then it skips straight to a level. And I can set whatever level that is. I want right here. I can say Auto Select Zone is true. Yes, do it. I can say the zone index is this and the level index is this, and it will skip directly to that level, which is super handy because I might make a change here and then I can just reload to get those new changes, and then in just a second or two, I'm right there. Whereas previously I would have had to, okay, I want to go into Matt's Playgrounds and I want to, what level do I want? Oh, I want the Pixel Washer title level. And so I would have to click a few times, and so this is a very lovely feature for me as the dev. Okay, now let's get into some interface stuff. This menus and user interface is such an important part of a game that feels complete and that Steam users are going to be happy with. So one very important thing that I added recently look at all these languages. This is so good for a little game like mine. I can really help the game find more players with all these translations going on. And something very critical that I added is that now when you select different languages, watch this up here in the upper right. This says radar. What does this normally say? Cleaned. And then this says stone, the name of the thing I last cleaned. And all those update in real time now. And this did not used to be the case. I even flirted with the idea of just reloading the whole game because I had all these hard-coded strings everywhere. And when the game first loaded, it would populate these strings based on the language that you selected. So I added a thing I call a intel refresher. It's a component that any of these entities can add, and it listens for the event of the language changing, and it can update itself. So I think that that's a really good quality of life change to the game. You know, it's hard because some people will never mess with it. They're just going to choose English as the default and never even look at this menu. But some people are going to want to go back and forth. And if you change a setting in the middle of the game, it should work beautifully. This is a small thing, but I also added scrollable credits, which is important because I'm using lots and lots of lovely pixel art from some really talented pixel artists and some music, and my special thanks gets bigger every single day. Not really, but it is expanding. So I added this, the ability to scroll the credits, which is not perfect. I noticed there's a mouse problem. I actually fixed this in a different code base, but I did not export that over here. So you have to kind of awkwardly keep your mouse within that scroll area, but you can use the gamepad or keyboard to scroll. That's cool. I think credits are important. There's this awesome Zach Gage talk everybody should watch, which he would say I should put my name right here, Pixel Washer by Matt Hackett. Maybe I'll do that eventually. I don't know. We'll see. But credits are very important, especially if they're required from the asset packs that you're using. So I like to get credits in there early on in development. As you might have seen earlier, there is a configurable keyboard, which works great. I'll give you an example. If I hit down right now, it uses WASD. So if I change the S, I can change it to, I don't know, I. And there it goes, key I. So I'll change that back to an S. WASD works like a charm. Same deal with gamepad, which actually has quite a few features. Let me see if this is working. Some of these buttons, when you, yeah, look at that. You can see it right here. The D-pad, like as you press the buttons. Isn't that cool? I just love it. Oh, the D-pads do that too. Oh, that's some debugging. I should get those out of there probably. But yeah, the analogs also show you what kind of data they're getting. This is useful because some gamepads have different thresholds, I've noticed. So like if you turn the dead zones all the way down for certain gamepads, they will just start to like, the gamepad will make you think you're always moving to the left or always moving to the right or up or down or something. And so you can turn the thresholds up or down for your specific gamepad. So in theory, everybody should have a good gamepad experience when playing Pixel Washer. Same deal with the mouse. I'm going to add a few more mouse controls. I'm probably going to use the middle button, which I don't have right now, but it's good to have this in there. Next, let's take a look at the guns that we have in the game, the power washing guns. So I'm still kind of working on the system that lets you both unlock them and select them. It is technically working in the game, but just real quick, I'm just going to hard code these guns, and that way we can take a look at them really easily. Let me see if I can do this with the debug menu. No, I can't. Okay, I'm just going to clear the data here. Okay, so in theory now, when I go in here, I should have access to all of my guns. So this is the default gun. It's supposed to be decent range, decent effectiveness, decent size. I will hit Q, switch to a different gun. This one is smaller. It's way more effective and it has a longer range, as you can see, and it cleans everything perfectly. This gun has the longest range in the game, and as you can see, it's very tiny. And this one is meant, I know I'm going to regret this at some point in this game's development, but like, this lets you draw things. So I could try to draw like, hi. Because it's got really long range and it's super effective. Hi. So I can't wait to see what everybody's going to draw. It's a little circle. Draw an X. So yeah, super long range, and this is one of the most effective guns in the whole game. This one is fun. It's just really big. It's not the most effective. It doesn't have very good range, but it's got a great big, very generous cleaning area. That's a fun gun. And then this is the strongest gun in the game, and this is fun. Watch this. It's got like a kickback. Like, I'm not moving here. I'm just using the gun. Like, here's me moving, and you can kind of push back against it. Like, Pixel can move towards it. But I thought that this gun was just like way too strong, and so it kind of needed some kind of reason to not want to always use it as just the de facto way too strong gun. And eventually I might add another reason to not always want to use the gun. For example, maybe it only uses a special washing resource that you have a limited amount of. So like maybe the default gun just uses plain water and you have infinite amount. Or, you know, like in Mario Sunshine games, you'd touch the water here and it would refill your gauge or whatever. But I'm thinking like maybe the strongest gun in the game has like a separate, maybe I could put some UI here, like a separate kind of washing fluid that you don't want to use, or like you only want to use sparingly, or only on the tough grime, right? And stuff that kind of refuses to get clean. So those are the new guns. I think they're pretty cool. And that takes us to the new power washing stuff. So one change I added is that you can now kind of see through. You see where you can still see the ball in the center of that. And previously it was like, it's still a little bit obfuscated by the effects. And I think that kind of should be the case because you can't always see exactly what you're washing. This is new too. You can kind of see through the stream itself, the pulsing stream. And so that uses a composite effect when it renders the pixels. And so I got some feedback that players wanted to be able to kind of see a little bit better what they're washing as they're washing. So I hope that kind of checks that box. The math was tricky. If I can find the footage, I'll include in here. It looked really strange when I was figuring out the math. Because what this is doing is it's rendering a path and using HTML5 Canvas API. Basically, like this spray here is a shape. So it draws a semicircle around the washing area, and then it draws a path from the edges of the circle to the tip of the gun here. So it's kind of complicated, but I like figuring out that. It's really just vector math and 2D math. I think that kind of stuff is really fun to figure out. Here's another change. Hopefully no one will ever notice this, but on the bigger maps, there used to be some slowdown. Like on a large one like this, you got some really big things to wash and lots of different objects. This map would start to slow down a little bit because all the colliders were colliding with each other. And so if I open up this map in tiled, you can see there's lots of different colliders going on here to kind of keep the player out of certain areas and to give you things to wash. And so what was going on is every single one of these colliders was interacting with every single other collider. So I added a very simple system to optimize that, which is that the colliders are now grouped. So the grime never collides with grime, and this it can turn that back on if there's a specific need for that. And these solid colliders, like you can see here, I can't walk into this area. It's because there's a solid collider there. The solid colliders also do not need to collide with each other. And so basically the grime should only collide with the sprayer here, and everything else should only collide, like the solids, only with Pixel, because Pixel's the only entity that can move around and would actually ever need to collide. So a very simple change there, just to give the collision objects groups. Something else I might do eventually is create what's called a quad tree, where I could section this off and say, you know, this stuff in the upper left quadrant of this screen never needs to collide with the stuff in the bottom right quadrant, etc. And that would be another way to kind of optimize the collisions. Here's a pretty major bug I fixed. I hope no one noticed this, but I think it was easy to notice. If I can find the footage, I'll put it up here. The grime used to kind of be on its own sorting. Oh, you can kind of see I might have to adjust some objects. So okay, the grime here, you can see the stuff that draws over the sprites, right? Because underneath this is a sprite, and on top of it is this grime. And there used to be a collision problem where the grime would always draw over all sprites, no matter what. So in this case here, it would be drawing over Pixel's gun and his head, and obviously you don't want that. And here, I might need, you can see it's doing it right there, just a little bit. So I probably need to go in there and adjust this one specific object, but it seems to be working in other cases, right? Like when I'm behind it, that's what I want. And then when I'm in front of it, that's what I want. So here's yeah, you can see some overlap there. It took me a while to figure this out because I was like, you know, you ever look at your code and you're like, that should be working. Like, why isn't that working? But you can see plainly it's not working as intended. And the problem was, what's technically going on here is I call it a grime parent. So like these stairs here, whatever this jungle gym thing is, that's one sprite. And then all of the grime are child objects. And so this one has, yeah, just the one piece of grime. This one's definitely going to have multiple chunks of grime. So like when you heard that dong, that roof, that's one child right here. And there's another one right here. You know, this is made up of several different objects. I could show you that real quick. So you can see how these tubes, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's like a bunch of different grime objects, and there's also some solids in there to keep the player from walking over whatever they want. Pretty cool. And the reason the bug was happening is because the sorting Z index wasn't taking into account the fact that it also used the parent's Z. And so the Z was really high for any child object of the grime. And so basically I just fixed that math, and yeah, I still got some issues here and there to figure out, but overall, oh, there's another one. Oh, wait, no? Okay, looking good. Yeah, not perfect yet, but I will say it's pretty tricky. Like this object is just an odd shape to get completely right for the sorting and the collisions and everything, and I think it's definitely much better than it was. Lastly, some simple things. This just gets into specific to the platforms that Pixel Washer is currently available on. Like if you go play the demo on itch.io, there was a bug where, and you've probably seen, if you use itch a lot, you've probably seen this already, where you'll be playing a game in the embedded browser here, right? And the problem is, like, when you hit certain keys, those keys will go through your game and they will hit the keys will go through your game and they will hit the browser, make the browser scroll. So you can see when I have the web page selected and I hit up and down, the page scrolls as expected. But when the game has focus and I use the arrow keys, the page no longer scrolls. It's a simple thing. All I did was I canceled the arrow key movement. But it does make a difference because I've played some games on itch where it's, you know, I think there's full screen options like this. This might fix it sometimes if you do that. But I've definitely played some games where it almost wasn't even really playable because it wasn't canceling those event keys. So I highly recommend doing that. And then the last thing is the other platform that Pixel Washer is available on is Watchlist on Steam. In the Electron app, it now opens in a brand new window. It used to do this awkward thing where you'd be in the window, you know, the downloadable game on your desktop, you hit Watchlist on Steam, and it would like pull it up in a weird Electron window embedded within the app, which is just weird. So now what it does, it just tells your browser, it's like, hey, open this Steam URL. And you know how it is. Hopefully folks will go, wishlist the game. This is my time to tell you, if you like what you see, you want to play some Pixel Washer, you want to know when it comes out on Steam, add it to your wish list, and you will be notified. That is it for changes. I wanted to do a video. You know, it's interesting. I've read and heard that the devlogs, like unless you've got a huge following, the devlogs aren't really kind of worth doing, so to speak, because I don't know, they're only interesting to the people who care about you as a dev or who are really interested in your game specifically. And that's not going to be everybody. So like, you're not going to get this like huge, you know, like my devlogs are not going to get hundreds of thousands of people on watching them, right? How do I switch guns? Let's get a good gun in here. Let's get this big one. Yeah. I'm going to play you out with this. Is one of my favorite levels. The music is really relaxing here. You know what? I'm going to play the song in the background of this video as I do this. And I'm going to kind of cheat with this gigantic washer. But this is the solar system. I'm really into outer space recently. Just about every single night when I'm trying to go to sleep, I'll play a space video from a channel like C-Space or Astrum. But basically what I'm looking for is like educational videos that kind of tell you about our solar system or the larger cosmos, the observable universe. I want to see star fields. I want to be out in space. And, you know, I'm using mostly asset packs for Pixel Washer, and I found these, like, look how cool these are. Look at these awesome giant planets. Let's see which planet this is, actually. I gotta finish washing it. Clean. I'm gonna add a feature that lets you, cause like, it's hard, especially when the object is brown, it's hard to spot those last few pixels. And so I'm gonna add a button you can press that will like make the dirt shine like yellow, or maybe get some use some compositing to kind of figure out which colors would be most visible. So that was Mercury. As you can see, I just cleaned Mercury. Let's see what planet this is. What are we looking at here? That looks like, is that Mars? Could that be Mars? Oh, maybe it's Venus. I might shrink the planets too, because like they're the same size as the sun, which, I mean, that's just how the asset pack works, right? Venus, yeah. Oh, here we go. Here's Earth. I'll save that for last. But yeah, I'm gonna play you out with this level. This is an end game level. This is like once you've kind of beat the main track. I would love for the game, as my plan, to get kind of like a little abstract, a little trippy, like, you know, you'll be cleaning basic things in life like chairs and trucks and houses and fences and mailboxes and all the things you would expect out of a power washing game, all the kind of mundane everyday life things that are just satisfying to clean. Oh, it's Saturn. See, that Saturn's huge, especially like way bigger than most of these planets. And you know, eventually I want you to float off into space and kind of have a relaxing time. Like this level is really for me, you know, and I want to have a bunch of space levels. I want to clean like Halley's Comet. I want to clean like the Milky Way galaxy. That sounds so peaceful to me. And I think that like paired with the music, it's very chill. And that's been one of my prime directives while making this game. Oh, there's Neptune. Is I want it to be a chill, relaxing experience. That's the sun. Maybe I'll do that very last. What else we got here? You can see the radar. So I got one planet hovering up here. So this must be Jupiter. Jupiter is my favorite planet. I don't know if you know that about me. It's a fascinating planet. One could argue that our Earth would not have been able to sustain life if not for Jupiter cleaning a path, much like a giant bowling ball, just tearing down obstacles. Jupiter attracts a lot of comets that might otherwise have destroyed us. Jupiter has kind of paved the way for life to exist. And there you have the big red storm, the red eye in Jupiter. Probably my favorite planet. I think I just found a bug. Why isn't the sun showing up on the radar? That's weird. Because I see Earth. You see Earth here on the radar? It's like kind of floating around. My plan was to stop talking and just to play this level and kind of have like a chilled out ending to the video, but I'm having too much fun just cleaning and talking, so I'm just going to keep doing this. But yeah, there's also something else you're going to be doing at the end of the game if you play through Pixel Washer is not just will you be flying off into space, you will be cleaning some classic games. Like I've got a chessboard in the game. You can go watch a chessboard, and it's like giant and really fun. There we go. I might also make a Pixel float. Maybe I'll give him like a jetpack if I get the time. And I did this. I've done this in so many games. I love doing this. You can see in the background there's a star field, and some stars don't move. Some move very slowly, and some are moving a little bit faster. But yeah, that's a Pixel Washer update. It's been a minute. I have not been cranking out videos as much as I used to on YouTube. I'm just very busy, focused on the game, and other stuff like contracts and whatnot. So I've not been podcasting or even tweeting as much as I used to, but I have been busy on the game. There's lots of new stuff to see, and I kind of wanted to show you that. And again, I know this video is not going to be watched by, tons of people. This is really kind of an intimate thing. It's really just for people who know me, know my work, and want to follow along, and maybe even people who are really just interested in Pixel Washer. So yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for following along the development. And if it interests you, of course, I gotta say it, go watch lists. Go add Pixel Washer to your Steam watch list. And if you have any questions or anything, join the Discord. And I sometimes post works in progress in there, and that's where I'll be doing stuff like the upcoming playtest. If you want to join that, join the Discord. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.